thank you very much for taking time to meet with Inkish here today in Adomet. I think that you were supposed to be on vacation today, weren't you?
Yeah, I suppose also, but no, generally speaking, I'm always available. For me, the vacation is my job. Okay, but time to time is necessary also to have some relax with family and to enjoy also with friends some real moment. But during August, I think for 1 week, 1 week and a half, I take some relax.
Fantastic. And the reason why you came in today is not because of us, but you had actually customers coming in today, right?
Yeah, it was a good day. It's coming a few customers also today. Luckily, the customers start to travel after this very difficult time, where this was very bad in terms of visit customer and also to receive customer. But also we can see some good system to communicate, in particular to the video web and to make a video conference and something like this. It's also helped to change a little bit our system to work. But the human relation, the contact, to have the possibility for the customer to come, to touch, to see real, the technology is something different. It's unbelievable.
And you know, now it's my first time with Adomet, but when I have been looking a little bit into the technology today, I truly understand why it's so valuable, because you see the build quality, you see the technology, you see your people, how dedicated they are to make this equipment. It must be, I mean, you've been with Adomet for more than 25 years. It must be quite satisfying for you to see how the company has developed all these years.
Look, first of all, the key point for the development is the people. And our team is really proud to work with the company. It's real emotion. They like, they have a passion to work and to build a new project, new machine, new concept, new organization. For this reason, also we invest quite a huge quantity of money for this new building. It's a building like 20,000 square meters. It's completely new, and with also a new organization in terms of production. We create together with a lean manufactory the concept of make a very easy production very quickly, and in particular to maintain a quality. For me, the quality is a must. I don't want to make nothing that is not controlled by the quality control.
But isn't it good, because I think that what Adomet is known for, doing the high quality, right?
We know, we are well known for the high quality. The most important thing is to maintain this one and to continue in this development, because we are, as you know, in the market is pushing in the direction for the low cost, for reduce the cost, for reduce the... Okay, this is right. Everybody wants to do this, but in any case, we need to maintain a certain quality in terms of product, in terms of service, in terms of capability to develop. This is the first priority. The company, the must is to make quality.
I know it's maybe a strange question, but I have been dying to ask you this since I prepared this interview. Do you remember the first day at Adomet?
The first?
Your first day at Adomet, do you remember
Yes,
it?
I remember.
How was it?
Look, I was 21 years old at that time, more or less 34 years ago. Was in a different building. The company was very, very small at the time. Working home at like 30-35 persons, not more. In the small area was more or less 1,000 square meters, and inside of the company was a tooling machine. There was the assembly people. It was totally different, like a very family, traditional Italian company. But in this 35 years, Adomet is making a very, very big development, in particular in the last 20 years.
The reason why I was curious about your first day in now almost 35 years ago is also because the industry has changed a lot in these 35 years. The customer has changed, the technology has changed, the market demand has changed, everything has changed. One thing is the change, but how do you as a company continue to be the leader of the pack, so to speak?
As I mentioned before, first of all, we need to give the opportunity to all the collaborators to propose a new idea, to think a new solution, and we say the opportunity to them to put, we say, in the table all these solutions. And when you have a table full idea, a lot of idea, you can choose what is the best one in the future. Only one man, they cannot do the company.
It's a teamwork kind
it's
of
a
thing.
team, really teamwork. And this mentality in particular is built in the last, I would say, 20 years. We really push in the direction, in particular for the younger generation, where I really believe that they have a good moving, a good idea, a good capability, because now the machine is changed, in particular in terms of technology. I remember the machine that was full mechanical. There was one motor that
was like almost like this.
almost like this, I say. But now the technology, the electronical part, the
computer, the software,
exactly.
everything.
We can control everything on the machine. We can control the maintenance. We can control the status of the component of the machine. It's really total change that is help a lot also for the life, for the development, for the project of the machine, because now it's possible to simulate everything on the computer, and you can prepare the machine without to make any error like before, that the design was by and the paper. And that is real. I believe that with a new generation also the technology can make another big step. Another big step.
But it's when you say that, I can't help think about it. I mean, when you look back at since your first day till today, right?
Yeah.
It must be almost impossible to imagine that it can be moving so much forward the next 35 years as well, right?
I don't know this. Nobody know.
That's true.
Nobody know. If we are looking, I say the development in the last 10 years, we see, for example, the printing, what is happened for the digital. What has happened for also in the traditional printing, but with a digital transformation, automatization, etc. I believe that also in the next 20 years, I say, they still have a good chance to develop again a new technology. And there are also some idea on
so you know at least something that is coming to happen, right?
Absolutely. There are a couple of ideas that is possible to come very soon.
I don't know how it is with Omet, but I know for myself that sometimes when I try to be creative and work out new ideas, sometimes I'm very stubborn and say that I develop it because I believe it's right. And sometimes I do it because customers have a demand for it. Is it the same with Omet? I mean, do you also create products and services that you think this will be good, but we don't know?
Look, sometimes, as you mentioned, the customer is pushing in certain direction. But in another way, there are also some customers, they say, okay, but think not only in the technical solution, but think in the new necessity of the final consumer. And how we can build like this. And on this way, sometimes is real coming some new product, because for sure the new generation, they need some new product that maybe our generation never think of. And for sure, when it's come this new product, we need to maybe study a new kind of machine to prepare this product, some new solution. Mostly is coming by the computer, by virtual, but maybe there are real some new product interesting also for the new generation.
I think
we need to listen.
Yeah.
For me, we need to listen the people, the younger generation coming, to listen more what they think, what they need, and regarding this, it's possible to think the solution.
I can't help think about that also in relation to what you just say now, that sometimes people and influencers in the industry talk about a dying industry, right? Mm-hmm. But I think in the label and the packaging segment, it's always, at least for many years now, been like a almost 100% certain that there will be need for packaging and for labels and for almost forever, right? But that must also give a company like Omet confidence in the future, because when you invest in new technology that is groundbreaking, it costs a lot of money to develop.
Yeah, but look, in particular for packaging and label and something like this, I believe that this kind of market is always have a very great future, because label and packaging is also a part for the communication. They give information to the people. For this one, it's a real need to develop a new idea to maintain a packaging also. What I say, with a new material, with a new easy way to communicate. Maybe in particular, I believe a lot, for example, in the smart label, in the packaging with intelligent packaging, we call that you can go and to communicate without to have a lot of space on the bottle or on the normal packaging. For sure, there are a lot of development also, in the material, because packaging is considered one of the first problem for the environment. Packaging is created. You say on the sea there are a lot of bottles. You say there are a lot of bottles, plastic or something like this, and this is packaging. But for sure there are a lot of development on this way also to save what is our world.
When you say that the development of Omet has been like more faster the last 20 years kind of thing, right? Can you remember, was there a defining moment for Omet where it was like this was a bigger change?
Look, there are two moments, I think. One moment is the beginning, end of 90, beginning of 2000, when we start to develop our sales team worldwide. This was a real big moment.
That was a game changer for Omet.
Exactly. The second point is when we are develop a certain kind of machine, in particular the Variflex and the X6, that is real make a change on the flexo market, in particular on the narrow web, because the X-Flex was real unbelievable. I remember very well when we present this machine on Label Expo, was like a revolution. Everybody's come to see this new technology, and our biggest competitor, bigger than us at that time, they was very surprised what happened. Something like this. This was for me the two biggest step for the future of it.
But that is it's always good to remember, right? Because I mean, history is also learning from that. You sometimes take the risk and you take the chance of making game-changing technology. You said sometimes even bigger than and smarter than the competition. I mean, I know, of course, there are other players in the market, but do you think that Omet to some extent stands out from most of the competition, or is it a very dense competition?
Look, I always say competition, okay, I prefer to don't have the competitor, but in any case the competitor is help also to make a new idea.
Keep you on the toes, right?
Exactly, that is, I like also to compete. And we always push in the direction to make something different. To say, if all the competitors take one road, we try to do in another way. This is our key point. Because to avoid real to compete with the same product, more or less the same product, and that we come to see to sell for price. We need to give to the customer, to the market, something different, something more revolution. This is why we are more technical engineering company than real big volume manufacturer of the machine. We try to do a big machine, we try to do a special machine. Of course, we have also a lot of standard machine just for label or something like this. But
we always, all of us need bread and butter machines as well, right?
Exactly. But mostly we real concentrate in develop technology.
You are a private-owned company, family-owned company, and I was just thinking that with the competition in the market, some companies think that they need to be public in order to get enough money for research and development for the future and things like that, or maybe just for shareholders, who knows? But I was just wondering the profitability of Aumed and your ability to create new technology. Does that? Are you good enough to make enough money to keep on the forefront of development?
Yeah. Look at this time, yes. And we believe that is the best way, because who need money for the market for develop is because they don't create money from themselves.
Yeah. They do it for shareholders only. Yeah.
Or they think the shareholder. For us, in our family, we really invest our profit, we invest in the new development, because the value of the company is depend of our capability to invest and to create a new product. If you are looking at the future, normally we are invest more or less also our profit in the new development.
So you can keep growing and you can be the front runners in
that. Exactly. It's what we want to do. It's our passion, and the company is our value. It's developed for of course for the shareholder, but it's a value also for the people that is work day by day here in the company, and spend 2/3 of their life in the company, and they have a passion to work here. And for this, the company is not only us, the company is all for our employee.
Last round of questions, maybe 2 questions or 3 questions. I have asked you about the market situation and the competition, is because when I look at the pandemic, you also mentioned that you have taken a lot of initiatives to both have Aumed TV and to have your virtual presentations of machines like that. The communication around this industry, the printing industry in general terms, seems to have changed a lot during the pandemic. Will it go back to before, or will it continue, or will it be a mixture?
I think it's necessary time, but I believe that the people need to have a human contact, and for sure in a certain time is go back. I don't want to say 100%, or maybe it's go back in a certain way, maybe a little bit different than before, because still for some communication, I think is good also to maintain the new model, the new concept. But for sure, the possibility in particular for the relation for our customer, how to see the machine, how to build, how to really understand, is necessary to have a real contact. By virtual is very difficult.
Is that also a generational thing? I mean, if you look at the printing industry, we have, I think all of us understand that there's too few young people entering into the industry. There is a generational gap. Will the generational gap lead to more virtual events and more like online things rather than having the need for the physical ones?
This is good for the promotion, for the marketing, for everything, but real, I think also the new generation when must take some decision regarding the investment, the big investment also for the machine. They like to have to touch and to see.
Yeah, of course.
I think
it's not like buying a new pair of shoes. It's something more.
Exactly. And after say you can buy shoes or shirt to the internet, and okay, if it's not okay, you send back. Okay, but machine is not like this.
You don't want it back, right?
It's not like this.
No. So, Marco, the future. What is? I mean, we have talked about the products. We talked about that. It seems that Omet is on a very good trajectory. But I mean, if you look at the future in the nearby, is it like? Are you taking away market shares from other people, or is it just a growing market?
For us, the dream is of course to increase our market share. We are work on this. We are work for this. We invest money for this. We want to give, for sure, more service, more quality to our customer. We want to be partner to customer and supplier, because I think the future is connecting to the real partnership, to the real big relation of the full filiere. It means customer, supplier, sub-supplier, everything. This is coming, I think, the most important part for the future. And I believe also that for a long term, the new generation can really understand what is the human contact that our generation that was already created in the past. And for this reason, they can also increase what you say, I have in my mind some concept that is difficult to say, but the person, the men, the women, they like to have human contact.
Yeah.
Everybody of us,
Yeah.
they want to stay with some other.
Yeah.
And when we stay together, we also consume, because we can go to the restaurant, we can eat, we can do something like this. That is create economy. And that this economy is create a new idea, this economy is generate a new product. And this is, I really have a good feeling for the future. I like to stay with a young generation.
Yeah, and maybe also give you the R&D thoughts that brings the next new thing to the table, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.